Hey there, welcome back to the athomedive YouTube channel. As always, my name is Joey and today we're in the kitchen making something delicious. Today, I was talking with a friend of mine and they mentioned that they wanted some potato skins. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make loaded potato skins. So sit back, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right in. So today on the counter, we have a super simple list of ingredients. So we're gonna start with 5 pounds of red potatoes. Honestly, I prefer the smaller ones for this, but you can use the larger ones if you want to. As you can see here, I have 4 here that are quite a bit larger than the rest, and I'm actually gonna make 3 out of those as opposed to 2 out of the smaller ones, just to kind of make them evenly sized. Also, I've got 2 ounces of salted butter. You can use unsalted if you want, but you'll end up using just a little bit more kosher salt. I have a little bit of black pepper. I have 8 ounces of hickory smoked bacon, 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, and I have a couple of green onions here. Some people use sour cream on these as well, but I'm not a big fan of sour cream. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start by putting about 2 tablespoons of kosher salt right in with the potatoes. Now, I'm gonna cover the potatoes with cold water. You just need enough water to cover the potatoes. Now I'm gonna place these on medium-high heat and slowly bring them up to a simmer. Next, I'm gonna take the ½ pound of bacon and I'm gonna cut it into thin strips. Now I'm gonna rake the bacon over into a small pot and put it on low heat as well. My goal here is to render the fat out of the bacon and make it nice and crispy and have the fat reserved. Now we're gonna put the bacon over onto medium-low heat and let the fat slowly render out while the potatoes come up to a boil as well. We wanna make sure we take our time with both of these because we want the potatoes to cook evenly. That way the inside's fully cooked by the time the outside is cooked. That way they're not overcooked and soft on the outside. So this is gonna take a little while, and make sure we stir the bacon every once in a while. Alright, so just to give everyone a quick status update here, as you can see the bacon, the fat is really starting to come out of it. And if you scoot this over, you can see it pooling in the bottom. That's actually going to speed up and make the bacon cook more evenly, both. So the fat's a really great thing. And if we move on to the potatoes here though, you see they're still really firm. I just have a basic cake tester here and they're really not piercing very well. And we're looking to be able to pierce the potato all the way through. So we're going to go and give these a little while longer. So once the bacon gets closer to being finished, as you can see here, like any other bacon we've cooked, it starts getting nice and foamy, and that lets us know that the oil is really hot and that the bacon's almost ready. If you lift it out of the oil here, you can see the color's darkened up a little bit. So we're gonna let this go ahead and cook just a little while longer because it's not quite ready yet. But if we move on to the potatoes, these are still not quite tender. So we're gonna let them go just a little while longer.
A little later.
We are back, and as you can see, the bacon has gotten a lot more colorful, and so now it's gonna be nice and crispy once it sits out of the fat for just a moment. I'm gonna take a slotted spoon, shake off as much of the excess fat as possible, and then transfer this over into a bowl. The potatoes have been on for about a total of 40 minutes now, and as you can see, some of these, the cake tester is going right in, and some of the larger ones, I'm actually getting a little bit of resistance. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the smaller potatoes and leave the larger ones to cook just a little bit longer. So I'm gonna leave these to cook, and we'll be back in just a few more minutes.
Moments later.
A few minutes later, and we're gonna go ahead and pull out the larger potatoes and let them start to cool down with the rest of the group. We're gonna let these cool down until they're cool enough to handle, and then we're gonna cut them. So we're back and the potatoes have cooled off enough to handle. So now the first thing we're gonna do is when we look at the potato, we're gonna go ahead and cut one small flat spot on each side of the potato. This is gonna give us a place to let the potato sit whenever it sits on the tray to bake. And after that, we're gonna go ahead and cut it right in half. Now we have the actual potato skin shape itself. So we're gonna set the scraps aside and we'll come back to those here in a minute. When it comes to the larger potatoes, we're actually gonna trim the ends of these as opposed to the sides, and that's gonna leave us with 2 end places for the potato to stand. The difference with these is I mentioned that we may make 3 out of this. So what I'm gonna do is cut these off so that I again have a smaller potato skin, because as you can see, this is not far from the same size. And with the 2 ends, they'll already sit well, but the middle is perfectly flat, so we'll keep that as well. So now let's go ahead and trim the rest of these. as you can see, we've achieved the potato skin shape for all of these. We're gonna actually put these in the refrigerator and get them cold, and then we'll hollow them out here in a little while. Since the potatoes are almost cooled, we're gonna go ahead and come back to the green onions. While we're waiting, we might as well go ahead and cut them. I like to cut them on a long, thin bias. That way, once you have them cut, you can have something nice to sprinkle right over the top that looks good and adds quite a bit of color. When I'm trimming the green onions, I don't go all the way down to the white part. I stop once the green part's finished. And I'm gonna go ahead and collect these into a small bowl and set them aside for now. Now that the potatoes are cooled, I'm just gonna take a small knife, you can use a spoon as well if you'd like, and I'm just gonna go around and trim out the majority of the inside of the potato. You always wanna make sure that you leave enough potato around the outside so that you can have the firm structure of the wall. But we're gonna go ahead and take these and set them right back on the tray after we've emptied them out.
5 minutes later.
As you can see here, they have a nice deep pocket in the middle and they have a nice firm wall around the outside. And that's exactly what we're looking for because we want room to put the filling in, but we want to make sure it has structure. So let's go ahead and move on to making the filling. I have the filling out of the center of the potatoes and I'm gonna go ahead and add in half of the butter or about 2 tablespoons. And now I'm gonna dump in the cheese as well. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take our electric mixer and I'm gonna beat these things together. So here's our filling for our potato skins. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the potato skins themselves and I'm gonna slowly fill them with this filling. We don't need to put a whole lot in here because we need to make sure that we have enough to fill all of the potato skins. We can always go back and add the extra whenever we're finished.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Now I'm gonna go back through with just a little bit of coarse kosher salt and give them just a light sprinkle over the top. Of course, this is optional depending on how much salt you like, but I like that little extra bit of salty bite to it. Now we're ready to go into our oven at 425 degrees until they're golden brown. This should take around 20 minutes.
1 eternity later.
So I've just pulled the potato skins out of the oven, and as you can see here, they're all nice and starting to brown on top, and they're completely soft around the edges now, but firm enough to pick up. Let's go ahead and plate a few of these up so we can finish them off. Once I have these put onto the plate, I like to go ahead then and add the bacon right on top. That way you get that nice crispy salty, and the bacon flavor, it comes through really strong. Once the bacon's on, that's when I like to go back and just add the green onions right on top. And there you have it, loaded potato skins. All right, well that wraps us up on how to make loaded potato skins. Comment below and let me know how yours turn out. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.